Okay, sorry about that. Sorry for the announcement, and then I pressed the wrong button. So this is a separate recording, starting with number 4 for the Unit 7 study guide. Okay, so before we were interrupted, we had figured out that $9.90 times an unknown amount, we don't know, equaled $118.80. So in order to figure out, this is number 4. In order to figure out how many tickets were adult tickets, I need to figure this out. So 990 multiplied by an unknown number equals $118.80. So if you remember, when we are solving for an unknown number, we have to do the opposite operation. So I would have to take $9.90 and divide it into $118.80. So I'm going to do that with my calculator. So let me pull that up. Let me take this. And so $118.80 divided by $9.90. And if I hit this, I should end up with a whole number, which would be the number of tickets sold. And that would be 12. So how many tickets were sold that were adult tickets? That would be 12 tickets. Okay, so now we're done with the calculator portion of this, this study guide. So now we're in the no calculator zone. So this is straight up multiplying, dividing, estimating, etc. So let's start with number 5. It says, find the product of 5 2/10 and 6 4/10. Product means multiply. So 5 2/10 times 6 4/10. All right, so remember, when we're multiplying decimals, we slide our decimals to the right and we make them whole numbers. 52 times 64. And then remember, I'm going to come back and do that. I moved it a total of 2 spaces. So I'm going to remember that. So I'm going to solve it area model, since that's what most of our friends use. So I'm going to go 50 plus 2 times 60 plus 4. I'm going to make my box. All right. 50 times 60. 5 times 6 is 30. 1, 2 zeros, so 3,000. And 60 times 2. 2 times 6 is 12. With the zero, it's 120. 50 times 4. 5 times 4 is 20. Count the zero, write the zero, 200. And 2 times 4, which is 8. Now, I'm going to add up my columns. So 3,000 plus 120 is 3,120. And if you were doing the traditional algorithm, this would be the bottom number. And then 200 plus 8, 208, that is that. And if you were doing the algorithm, that would be the top number. So let's see, we've got 8, 2, 3, 3. All right, so 3,328 is my answer to the whole number problem. But remember, however many decimals we slide to the right, we need to slide to the left. So I moved twice. So 1, 2, my decimal point goes there. So my answer is 33 2/28. Number 6, it says find the quotient of 7 582 thousandths and 2/10. So with division, I'm going to turn my paper sideways. So this is going to be number 6. All right, I'm going to make my division house. 7 582 thousandths. And it's divided by 2/10. Decimal on the side, you slide, you slide. I'm sliding to the right 1 space here. I'm sliding to the right 1 space here. And my new problem is 2 divided into 75 and 82 hundredths. Now, if you don't know your twos, you can skip count, but I do. I'm going to use divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and repeat. So 2 divides into 7 4 times. No, I'm sorry, 3 times. Let's try that. That's too big. 3 times. 3 times 2 is 6. I subtract, I'm left with 1. I'm going to bring down the 5. 2 divides into 15 7 times. 2 times 7 is 14. I subtract, I'm left with 1. I'm going to bring down the 8. 2 divides into 18 9 times. 9 times 2 is 18. I subtract, I'm left with 0. And I bring down the 2. And 2 divides into 2 1 time. 2 times 1 is 2. I'm left with 0. So my quotient is 37 and 91 hundredths. 37 and 91 hundredths. Number 7 says find the quotient of 62 and 88 hundredths and 8. So I am going to divide. So let me get a new piece of paper. All right, number 7. 62 and 88 hundredths divided by 8. I'm going to raise my decimal to the roof. I'm going to skip count by 8s. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72. All right. Okay. So 8 divides into 6 0 times. 0 times 8 is 0. I subtract, I'm left with 2 or 6. I bring down the 2. 8 times 7 is 56. So I'm going to subtract. This becomes 12. So that's a 6. I'm going to bring down my 8. 8 divides into 68 8 times. 8 times 8 is 64. I subtract. I'm left with 4. I bring down my last 8. And 8 divides into 48 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48. I subtract, I'm left with 0. So the answer to number 7 is, the quotient is 7 and 86 hundredths. Number 8, it says select the problem that is represented in the model shown below. The dark square equals 1 whole. And the light gray equals 1/10. Okay. So if you remember from our lessons, we're making an array. Okay, so we're looking at what is the value of the row and what is the value of the column. So my row is this right here. So I use my highlighter. My row is this amount going across. And that is all squares. So in a square is 1 whole. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7. So my 7 is a row. And then the second factor is my column. So it's this amount right here, this amount right here, this column right here. Okay. So I have 1 whole and 3 1/10 bars. So this is 1 and 3/10. 1 whole, 1 and 1/10, 1 and 2/10, 1 and 3/10, 1 and 3/10. So looking at my answer choices, the answer is letter B. 7 times 1 and 3/10. Number 12 says Jennifer is buying candy for an egg hunt. She is buying 6 2/10 pounds of jelly beans, for $2.59 per pound. About how much money will she spend on jelly beans? Okay, so about, that means I'm rounding. It means that I'm not looking for a real answer. So I know that she is buying jelly beans that cost $2.59. And she buys 6 2/10 of a pound, right? So every pound is $2.59. So it's safe to say that I would have to take $2.59 and times it by 6 2/10. But again, they want to know the estimate. So I have to round. And in this case, I'm going to round to my nearest whole number. So that would be the 2 and the 6. The 5 tells my 2 to round to $3. And the 2 tells my 6 to remain the same. So about 6 pounds at $3 each, that's $18. So that fits between $17 and $20, which is letter C. Okay, our next problem is this one right here. It says solve 36 divided by 9/10. So this is number 13. And my problem is 36, remember, first in line, first in the house, divided by 0 and 9/10. Okay, so when I have a decimal on the side, I must slide. Okay, so my new divisor is going to be 9. And whatever I do to the outside, I have to do to the inside. And so there's no decimal point here because 36 is a whole number, but it is there. We just don't write it. The decimal is really right here. So actually, it's really right here, right after the whole number. So I have to slide it over one more space to the right. And since there's nothing here, I need to add a 0 as a placeholder. So my new dividend is really 360. Skip count by 9s, 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81. I'm going to divide. Can 9 divide into 3? 9 divides into 3 0 times. 0 times 9 is 0. I subtract, I'm left with 3. Bring down the 6. 9 divides into 36 4 times. 4 times 9 is 36. I'm left with 0. And now I'm not done because remember, for every number in our dividend, we must have a number in our quotient. So I need to bring down this 0. And obviously 9 divides into 0 0 times. So 0 times 9 is 0. And now I'm done. So the answer is 40. 40. Okay, so number 14 says, what is the closest estimate for 175 and 7200ths divided by 8? So I need to estimate this number. I don't really want to change my whole digit number because that's not going to bode well for me. So I'm going to take 175 and 7200ths, and I'm going to round to my nearest whole number. So that's going to round to 176 divided by 8. So let me get my paper. It's the number 14. 176 divided by 8. I'm going to skip count by 8s. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72. And I'm going to divide into 176. 8 divides into 1 0 times. 0 times 8 is 0. Bring down the 7. 8 divides into 17 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. Subtract, I'm left with 1. Bring down my next number, which is 16. 8 divides into 16 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. I'm left with 0. So my answer is letter B, 22. See, 22, 22. And my last question, number 15, it says, which equation is represented in the model of one whole shown below? Okay. All right, so I'm looking for a division problem. So I'm looking for blank divided by blank equals blank. If you remember from today or our lesson from earlier, this is the dividend. This is the divisor. And this is the quotient. So my dividend's the big amount. My divisor is the group. So this is the amount. My divisor is the groups, number of groups. And this is the amount in the group. Okay. So my big amount is how much is shaded. So each of these squares is 100. So each of these columns is 1/10. So I got 1/10, 1/10, 1/10, 1/10, 1/10, 1/10, 1/10, 1/10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tenths. So I have 8 tenths. 8 tenths. And the number of groups, I see that it's grouped into 2 groups. And the amount in each group is 1, 2, 3, 4 tenths. 4 tenths. So I look at my answer choices. I'm looking for 8 tenths divided by 2 equals 4 tenths. So no, that's not it. D is not it because it should be 8 tenths divided by 2. And that's not a decimal. All right, we got 8 tenths, check. We got 2 tenths, nope, that's not it. Let's see, we got 80, nope, that's not it. The answer is A. 0 and 8 tenths divided by 2 equals 0 and 4 tenths. And that is your study guide for our Unit 7. So thanks for watching. I hope that this video helped you, and I will be seeing you soon.